Osugame Dance. I know them, your mother knows them, even your newborns know what they are. We know what to do. Clear them. But have you seen how diverse these courses can get? Because in this video we'll be taking a look at all the dance Osugame has to offer. This is all of Osugame's dance courses explained. Or at least most of them. To start off, I'll explain what dance really are. The word Dan comes from the Japanese martial arts and it's used as an indication for a person's level of skill in a given system. There is also a similar word, kyo, which has the same meaning, but unlike dance, which are usually considered master ranks, they're used as student rankings. That said, let's give it to something more known to us. The first instance of dance in rhythm games was in Beatmania, or more specifically 2DX7 style, which then started appearing in other rhythm games like SDVX, Taiko no Tatsujin, and finally to each of Osu's separate game modes. In February 2015, a player by the name of Shoegazer posted to the OS forums sharing their set of marathons called Osumania 4-key Dan courses. This post is one of the first mentions of a Dan course anywhere in Mania, and at the time people liked the idea. And why wouldn't they? Everyone wanted to see how high they could push their limits. Now, here's the lineup for this dance set. The courses go from 1st to 10th, followed by Lumino and Tachyon Dan, with Tachyon being the hardest one. That one we'll get to in a minute. It consists of 4 difficult maps, which are Jack, Stamina, Tech, and Speed. And the order of the maps seems to be random, and also sometimes there might be some hybrid rice maps like Genga Ozo. Since Tachyon has 3 versions, we'll be talking about the last updated version, which is widely considered to be the real Tachyon. Onto the map picks we go. For the Jack map, we got chamberizing at 1.2 speed. The pattern mostly consists of 192 BPM speed jacks and quad streams, with occasional stream bursts in between. The map ends with a technical section which shouldn't be a problem for most players attempting Tachyon. For the stamina map, we have cyber inductance at 1.4 speed. The parts shown in Tachyon are cut from the full version. It's 267 BPM dense jump stream and jump throw patterns that stays consistently for most of the map, except in the middle, which has very tricky jumps and split trails. This map is also considered to be one of the easiest in the entire Dan course. For Tech, Shadow of Cats at 1.2 speed was chosen. If you don't know the charting of the map, well, let's just say, unless you're good at one of the skill sets in particular that Cynix really hates, don't get your hopes up for a good accuracy score. The beginning is straightforward, consisting of 418 BPM dump streams and a shit ton of mini-jacks. As the map enters its hardest part, the mini-jacks turn into 209 BPM jackhammers, which feel like 10 atomic bombs dropping on your accuracy, so pray you can win it back on the last one. And lastly, the speed map for the Dan is Angel Dust. It is consistent of mostly 240 BPM speed. Sadly, this isn't the issue, as you can find occasional tech bursts which are the real accuracy killers of the map. Now that we have gone through the maps, it's time to check the first victor there was on Tachyon v3. The first victor of Tachyon Dan, at least from what I found, is a player by the name of Snover PK. If you happen to not know who he is, he was amongst the best VSRG players of his era, with most of his recorded progress coming from Stepmania. And now, with the highest difficulty conquered, it was time for a new set of courses. And this set is... The reformed dons were made by Didi Mythico and were posted to Osu in May 2017. The courses would stay up for a while before unexpectedly being taken down, along Didi Mythico's account being restricted. Later on, a player by the name of Vimic would archive the maps and upload them to a site, with permission from Didi Mythico of course, and I will link them in the description. The most important rules to clearing these dans are not pausing and getting 96% accuracy. The Dan order is as follows: 1 through 10, afterwards having Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Delta as official difficulties. There is also Epsilon and Zeta that were considered in short a fucking joke due to being so outrageously hard that they were thought as impossible. But as you all know, Miyuka exists. There is also a mixed Zeta sample, but that I have explained in detail in another video. Miyuka's initial clear triggered a chain reaction that caused many players after him to begin rapidly improving, eventually getting a clear of their own. Okay, just so I don't end up taking literal months trying to edit this fucking video, I will talk briefly about the Epsilon maps, but if you wanna learn even more about this abomination, you can check out my two-parter explaining it in more detail. Starting off this course is Rose course at 1.3 speed, which consists of 190 BPM dense jacks. Next up is Forgotten 1.4. The map is chock full of dense 350 to 525 BPM technical patterns with very irritating rolls throughout and an annoyingly long ending. Next up is everyone's favorite map, Mario Paint, which consists of 465 BPM streams and a shitty roll section almost a minute through the map. Lastly we have Hitsugito Futago at 1.25 speed, a jump stream slash hand stream map sitting at 323 BPM with annoying rolling bursts that can pretty much fuck up your accuracy. In November of 2016, a mapper by the name of Arkwin Olivirus, or Arkwin for short, released the Allen tiers for the entirety of the Mania community to enjoy. Back then, they were very hyped up and kept gaining popularity as time passed until flaws were found in their rules, like for example the requirement to get a 95% or more on score v1. The chosen maps were also an issue since they really only required raw skill and became easy as fuck when played with cut LN, or Percy for short. For about a year there wouldn't be much activity for LN courses as Arkwin's tiers were the widely known ones, until Underjoy, an Osumania mapper, would see these flaws and create his own ETA Dan course. How did they fix the flaws, you ask? Well, let's check out their rules. First, you must have an accuracy of 97% or more by the end of the course for it to count as a clear. Second, you cannot pause at all during the entire course. And thirdly, you must use score v2, which eliminates the problems with release timings. And the use of easy, half time, no fail, or random is not allowed in any capacity. On top of the new rules, the audio was changed from 7 to 8, giving players a much harder time clearing the dance. The order of the ETA dance is as follows: 1 through 10, then the extra ones being Yoake, Yugure, Yoru, Yami, and finally Yume. If you're wondering what the names mean, they reference the different parts of the day and descent into darkness and hell of a lens. Each of them are split into 4 stages with around 10-second breaks in between, each having their own LN structure. With that said, onto the map section we go. Oh boy, what did Atomic write? We begin Yume Dan with Kodoku no Kakurenbo at 1.15 speed. It starts off with 253 BPM in verse patterns, transitioning into awkward LN streams with a middle lane trail that's very awkward to hit. This repeats one more time until you get to the hardest part of the map, 253 BPM inverse dance jump streams, followed by what we just described, except much denser with the dump section with awkward trails and LN placements to finish off this part. This for many is the hardest part in the course due to how awkward it is to play. Going deeper into Yume, we have Inai Inai Izonsho at 1.25 speed. The map isn't too dense for the most part, it's just very awkward due to it having 183 BPM shields and jackburst every goddamn second. It's a map that it's too hard to recover on if you manage to miss, as most Juan Crystal timing helm maps are. If you're good at speed jacks in general and have good LN control, this map should not be a problem. Many consider stage 2 the easiest part of the course. For stage 3, we have white-haired little swords girl 1.025. Oddly specific to be honest. 263 BPM inverse dance jump stream map that has tons of bursts and very awkward middle trails. The map is relatively simple pattern wise, but the fact that it's the third map and coupled with it having very dense patterns, it can easily strain your wrists. It's hard to recover if you chain miss more than 3 notes during the dance parts. This is one of the hardest maps in Yume, as you need a lot of thrill control to play it, and most players do not have that. And finally, the chorus ends off with Nuclear Star, banger song made by Camellia, picked as the technical map of the Dan. It opens with a very awkward inverse dump stream section, requiring you to hold while doing 200 BPM stream bursts. The 200 BPM jacks after it don't help either. They are the accuracy killer most of the time. The drop consists of inverse light hand streams, anchored streams, mini jacks, quad streams, and a speed jack section. Exiting the drop, the outro has less dance patterns as the map ends, letting you gain some accuracy before waking up from the dream, or nightmare depending on how you look at it, that is ETA Dan. On the 26th of January 2022, there would be an OSU update which changed how long notes worked when played on Score V2. Because of that, Underjoy changed the rules of the courses to fit the new long notes with an increase of the clear requirement from 96% to 97%. The first score made after the update would be from Forken on the 23rd of March, just 2 months after the new rules were implemented. In the following months, he would be joined by Boji and Hanatachi in clearing the course. The Joker Dance are a set of very difficult jack courses that test your limits of spamming. Cynix's worst nightmare. They were initially created in 2019 under the name Cyclone of Jacks. There would be 2 more volumes created, with the first going from 1 to 5 and then a final Dan, and the last pack going from 1 to 3 and those 4 Greek letters on screen. Soon enough, the Joker Dance would be created and would become some of the most popular jack courses to play in Osumania. They go from numbers 1 to 7 and then 4 Greek letters, which for some reason are the last one in the alphabet.
New mic, by the way.
Before we move on to the next section, I want to mention the first people who managed to clear a Sidon. The first clear on Sidon was by Mitter, done on the 17th of June 2022. He was then followed by Nibi, who managed to get 97% of the Dan on the 28th of October. Finally, Boji swooped in and managed to clear the Dan on the 23rd of December 2022. ETA Dan is amongst the more known unofficial dans and was literally made to not be possible to clear at all. If you want more info on it, you can check the video Miles and myself made on it, but here we'll just mention how the Dan is structured. The jack map here is Torment Payback. It is a very dense, very fast set of chord jacks with only a single break in the middle. After that, the map is quite literally relentless in its difficulty, going at 216 BPM all the way through. Next up is Tech. Exidium is an excruciatingly difficult map filled with bursty technical patterns at 390 BPM, not to mention brutal trills set at 520 BPM. And there is one section where the burst can go up to 780 BPM. After this tech nightmare, you have to face the speed map, Intersect Thunderbolt, which is filled with 500 BPM anchor streams. The map has only one breakpoint, and by the time you're done with it, your stamina might be completely gone at this point. But unfortunately, this ain't the end of it. The last map happens to be the stamina map, Collapse of Ego. The map is filled with brutal anchored jump stream patterns at 350 BPM that challenge your finger control and put it to its absolute limit. For the second drop, there are anchored hand streams with a brutal ending to drain your remaining stamina. Dan Celestial is the newest set of Dan courses to be introduced to Osumania. Back around 2023, Transcendence would embark on this enormous project with the incentive behind the creation of it being to balance the difficulty of Dan reform courses and bring something new to the table for players to enjoy. He's created a very easy to understand system which comes with a shit ton of requirements. First off, unlike its predecessors, Dan Celestial uses cheers instead of numbers. Secondly, It has two requirements for a clear, an easy and a hard clear. An easy clear refers to the partial clear of any amount of maps from one course from the tier, and hard clear, the complete clear of it. It also requires that you achieve 97% for it to count as a clear, with the singularity tier having additional requirements for clearing. This project is still being improved upon even to this day, so I definitely recommend playing through some of the courses if you have the time. I've personally playtested for it and I can attest to its quality. Regular and long note 7-key Dan course is an entire collection of dans created by Jinjin and uploaded to the Osu site in 2016 and 2018 respectively. The courses are separated in 3 phases, with each one becoming exponentially more difficult as you progress deeper. They go from 0th to 9th Dan and from Zenith to Stellium. When it comes to Stellium on both sets, there's just a handful of people who have even managed to clear whatever the this is. The first of these crazy motherfuckers is the man himself, Jakats, clearing with 96.91%. After him, 5 more people would take the course up and clear it. As it stands for the ETA Dan, Delay was the first one who has cleared it, with Kaukai having a clear on it and the rest of the difficult maps we talked about in previous sections. And this was a video on all the Dan courses we could find. If we happen to miss anything, let us know in the comments. I want to give a huge thanks to both Bluestone and AtomicHD for creating the script for this video, the channel members on screen, to Alias for the idea, and I hope from the bottom of my heart that this video helps you as much as my patterns video still does. With that said, I'll now try to escape Synix's basement because I've been here for like 20 days. Please help me!